I just did a deep dive. You know, you and I are big fans of Javier Milei.
Oh, yeah.
And I understand why we're big fans of Javier Milei, but I'm becoming a bigger fan of Javier Milei because of it. So, do you know this backstory of him and his dog?
Did you know that he actually is passing a law to jail central bankers for deficit spending?
Yeah. That's all well and good. But this thing about his dog, man. So, he had an English Mastiff. All right, this is borderline. This is another reason to like him because this is borderline weird. Not even borderline. It's kind of weird. And this is coming from a guy that just lost his dog. And I should have thought of this. Do you think it's weird to clone a dog?
I don't think it's weird. I think it's unusual, but that's only because the technology is just starting to actually develop.
Is it obsessive?
No, I think no, because I think if you're willing to clone your dog, that's an extension of how much you love the dog.
So I'm gonna try to do this without getting emotional, but I'm thinking about John Henry right now.
Yeah.
Whom I just lost after 11 years of being in the family. John Henry was 13. But I lost another dog. That John Henry is the second dog that we've had to put down. I had Hodi, Hodi. It's a Swahili word. Ex-girlfriend named him. Whatever. From the time he was about 1 until he was 15. And we had to let him go. And then along came John Henry. And at the time that we let Hodi go, I had already met John Henry. He was very new into our family. But I said to myself, there will never be another Hodi. And there will never be another Hodi. But then there was John Henry, who became like my brother from another mother, right? I mean, we bonded and connected. So
they all have their own unique personalities too.
That's right.
You can't replace. That's why that's the odd thing to me is if you clone John Henry, would he have the same personality?
Well, and that's where I'm going on this. We're thinking along the same lines. So if I'd made the decision to clone Hodi, and I don't know that the technology was even available 14 years ago or whatever it was, but let's say I made that determination. Well, I'm not getting the same dog. He's going to be a different dog than Hodi. But he would probably have very similar characteristics. Well, then I would have missed out on the joy that is John Henry. Right? And John Henry was a completely different dog than Hodi. And Mrs. Beasley is I just feel like there's enough out there. I think that it relates to a fear that you will never have that bond that you had with the current animal again. You will never have that same type of bond. I say that to say all this. Javier Milei, and if you don't know who Javier Milei is, look it up. He's the brand new Argentine president. He is a libertarian thinker, and he believes in the libertarian philosophy of government, and he is responding in said fashion as president of that country, and he is going to turn Argentina around and make Argentina an example of what a government serves best, that serves least philosophy can truly do to a people that are ready for it. Only a people that are ready for it. And sometimes you have to hit rock bottom in order to understand that. But the people of Argentina are very ready, and they're getting it. So he lost his dog in 2017. Conan. He named his dog Conan the Barbarian. And he is well documented as being very protective of his animals. And he said on record that he liked dogs more than he liked people. And I do too. I say that all the time. And people ask me why, and I tell them because they deserve it. They're clearly more deserving of my love than human beings. Milei says that he loved his dog more than people because his dog was one of the few people that did not turn on him at any point in his life. That's that ultimate, bond and creation of love. His first dog was an English Mastiff. I mentioned this, named for the movie Conan the Barbarian, was named Conan. He said it was the love of my life. Milei, 53-year-old who's never been married or had children of his own, spent Christmas and New Year's oftentimes alone with Conan, both sipping champagne. And according to the popular biography of the Argentine leader, in a 2018 interview, Milei said Conan was the only one not to betray him during a difficult spell in his life, along with his younger sister, Karina, who happens to be Secretary General of the President's office. So when Conan died, or Conan, I think I'm saying it wrong. Conan, one way or the other. When he died in 2017, it traumatized Milei so much that he had Conan cloned and had 5 dogs created. And so now he has 5 dogs. The procedure cost, you want to guess?
$50,000.
It's a good guess. Are you guessing?
I kind of have a little bit of...
You cheated.
No, I have somebody who investigated cloning their dog.
It was $50,000. It's exactly the cost. So, I mean, I won't get into the fact that Milei has also offered that at one time he believes he was a Roman gladiator and that Conan was a lion. But that being neither here nor there, he brings his dogs to work with him. He had all 5 of these cloned animals in a small Buenos Aires apartment with him. To make room, he knocked down his kitchen wall. According to an article by the Wall Street Journal, the pups tore up his furniture. One bit his arm while he was trying to break up a fight with the other 2. Milei called them his little monsters. He also thanked the dogs for his political rise. Even though the filthy journalists don't like it, I want to say thanks to my 4-legged children, he said after winning a primary last August. The dogs are now political fodder in the country of Argentina. In Congress, lawmakers point to the peculiar relationship to explain why Milei should not be trusted with powers to enact legislation in that country. I think he should be trusted even further because of all of this. But here's the reason I bring all of this up. His dogs are named, 4 of his current dogs are named after economists. Now, one of them...
I saw that.
So one of them is named Conan, after Conan, his other dog. The other 4 are named Milton Friedman, Robert for Robert Lucas, Lucas for Robert Lucas, and Murray for Murray Rothbard. And the 5th is named Conan.
I love that.
I love that too. And I'm thinking Friedman because I love Milton Friedman.
Oh, yeah.
Milton Friedman is my go-to. When I need to by the way, I would encourage you to do this. If you need to re-find your center about the relationship between government and the free market, if you feel like you've lost your way, if you feel like you're deep, and I do this, I'm serious, folks. If I'm deep in an issue and I find myself overwhelmed with information regarding the issue and I need to recenter and refocus myself, I go watch a speech from Milton Friedman.
Yeah, that is watching him talk, and he is very even-keeled and very factual about things, is just absolutely inspirational. Plus, I love the fact that anytime Joe Biden wants to talk about quote-unquote selfishness, he always brings Friedman up into the conversation, like Friedman was some advocate for destroying the poor or something like that.
And Friedman had the ability to, in his speeches and his talks in the 70s and 80s especially, cut through the emotional clutter. And that's what it is. It's total emotional clutter. And liberals lean on that emotional clutter in order to make you passionate about an argument that isn't logical.
Have you seen his appearance on one of his appearances on Phil Donahue?
Yeah, the Donahue appearances are incredible.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen every one of them.
He basically calls Donahue an idiot without even remotely being aggressive or detrimental to the conversation.
So anyway, you know what? I love it. I think it's fabulous. And some of you hate it. 7024 says, okay, he's got 5 clone dogs. Isn't there something else worth talking about? You tell me, 70.
Yeah, if he gets 24. A 6th clone dog, then we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about that one too. But you know what? We can talk about anything you want to talk about on this show. That's part of what people love about it.